Hey lovelies, and welcome back to reviews and recaps. Let's get into today's video. So Lexi is telling us that Chris reached out to her. Now, I feel like it's very appalling what Lexi had to say, and it's very heartbreaking. Like, even outside looking in, you're thinking, how can somebody treat their child like this? Like, it is so bad. It is so shocking. At this point, I'm happy that Lexi is exposing him because I feel like it needs to be said. Everyone needs to see Chris for who Chris is, in my opinion. Because it feels very much like you don't really care about Lexi as your daughter. And yeah, that is very problematic. Now, we're going to get into it in a second, but please, everything I say in this video is alleged, in my opinion only, and for entertainment purposes. Now, also, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, let us know what you think as you listen to this video. Now, let's get into it. Were you one of those people who thought that Lexi was a spoilt brat? Now, the reason I started off with that is because I know that a lot of people used to say they feel like Lexi was spoiled, Lexi was entitled, that was all it was about, and that they used to, or they felt that Chris did not really do anything wrong, or, there wasn't any sort of issue, she's just complaining, all that kind of stuff. And I guess my follow-up question would be, do you guys still feel that way? And I say that because I think it's so easy to be on the side of the parent, to say things like, I feel like the child is entitled, this child is this, this child is that. But then at the same time, what has the parent done that the parent needs to take accountability for? Now, this is not to say that there isn't a platform for somebody like Lexi to take accountability for certain things. But then I think the greatest level of accountability should come from the parent, especially in this scenario. Because let's be clear, right? A lot of these things that Lexi was recounting and explaining were things that happened before Lexi was an adult. So these are things that, as a parent, you are responsible for. But let's talk about what Lexi said. So Lexi basically first started off saying that somebody reached out to her and that it was Chris, and that when he tried to reach out to her, he couldn't reach her directly because she has him blocked. So he reached out to her mom, her husband, her stepdad to try to talk to her. And apparently he apologized because he was watching her videos. He was heartbroken. He was sorry. Now, the gag is Lexi made all of that up. He didn't do all of that. She was joking. Isn't that sad? That is what you would expect from a father, right? After watching those videos, that he will pick up the phone and call his daughter and say, I'm sorry for whatever it is that I've done to ruin our relationship. Let's start over, right? That is what you would expect from someone who calls themselves a father, who says that they love their daughter. That's what you would expect. What you won't expect is for daddy to not even reach out about her feelings. Instead, Daddy Chris allegedly reached out to her, and the only thing he wanted was for her to not talk about his mom. I'm just like, okay, wait. You couldn't reach out to this girl to say, I'm so sorry I haven't checked in on you. How are you doing? I saw your videos. I didn't know this is how you felt. What can we do? How can we fix it? Instead, you did absolutely nothing in relation to that. You were mute on that. And then instead, you're like, oh, don't talk about my mama. Like, what did she say about your mom? It wasn't even that deep. She made a joke about her teaching you how to twerk, or teaching her how to twerk. Like, it ain't even that deep. Like, why would you do that? And I feel like it's very manipulative to do that. He's basically, in my opinion, indirectly saying to her, just know that I saw your videos and I do not care about how you feel. All I care about is don't put my mama's name in it. That is all I care about. That is wild to me. Even if Lexi was wrong, right? Let's assume that Lexi was wrong. No, you're the parent. And so if your child expresses how she feels, and she's done it in a very respectful way, expresses how she feels, does videos, and then you then reach out to her, and it's not even to check in, to try to like have a sit down. Okay, babes, let's go to counseling. Let's talk about it. Let's address things. Let's move on. I hate to say this, but I will explain what I feel like Chris is like outside looking in. Chris reminds me of some men, right? When they are no longer with the mother of their child, they act like that child from that marriage doesn't, or from that relationship does not exist. That is what Chris's current behavior, at least from Lexi's perspective, from Lexi's story, is giving me. Because it's giving me, I'm not with your mama, so I don't really have to engage with you. Because what are we doing? Where is the love, the attention that a child deserves? Now, Lexi is no longer a child. Absolutely, I get that. You could even say to her, Lexi, I didn't like that you are putting this on front row street. You're talking about this publicly. Can you please stop? But can we talk about how we can move forward in our relationship? You could have done all of that. You had options. You could have chosen one of the above, but you didn't. Instead, you decided to tell her enough so that she knows that you saw the videos, but you're choosing not to address her feelings. You're doing the same thing she has exposed you of doing yet again. I really, really wish that Chris had taken the high road. The high road could have been, Lexi, let's do therapy. Let's get some counseling. Let's get a family therapist, you and I. You're my daughter. I love you very much. I may not have shown it. I may have made some mistakes in the past, but let's turn things around. Let's do something differently. But yet again, he's not taking ownership for him being able to do better in the relationship. And I don't blame Nell. I blame Chris. And I'll tell you why. Nell's son from a previous marriage does not experience this. Right? It is Chris's daughter from a previous marriage or previous relationship that is experiencing this situation. So that shows that Nell, in my opinion, did what she could from the position of bringing her son into the fold. Chris did not do enough, in my opinion, to bring Lexi into the fold. I feel like Chris dropped the ball. Think about it. If Chris was putting his foot down in that relationship with Miss Nell and saying, nah, my daughter cannot feel left out of this family. What can we do differently as a unit? How can we make her feel more supported? How can we make her feel more loved? And I've seen this happen a lot with men that end up remarrying, that they leave behind their children from a previous relationship. It is not on your wife to do that. This is your biological child. That is on you. That is your responsibility. Take up the responsibility. Step it up. Take up your responsibility and bring your child. Let your child be immersed in the new family that you have now created. So as much as I know people may want to call Nell out, and yes, Nell has her faults, and Nell has her mistakes, but the person that I feel like has the biggest or is to blame the most is Chris. But I don't feel like Chris is really getting called out as much as he should. You don't have to like Lexi, but think about it from the position of a child. Even if your child is acting out, right? Your child, from your perspective as a parent, you should be thinking, is the child trying to get my attention? What is the child looking for underneath all of that? How can I deal with this? Do I need to get a professional to sit with both of us so we can have the conversations that need to be had so we can move forward? Especially as adults now. she's now an adult, which means there's even the opportunity for her to try to understand better your position. As a child, you may not understand the nuances, you may not understand all the additional things that could have impacted the relationship, right? You may not know things that you may need to take accountability for. But as an adult, we're in a position where it's like, okay, let's have a sit down. Let's talk about, what did I do in your childhood? How could I have showed up in your childhood that I didn't? What can I do differently now as an adult? And then what are the things that you've done as an adult to me as a parent that has made it difficult for our relationship to progress? And vice versa, right? But you doing the indirects, talking about, don't talk about my mama. Nah, bro. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're literally further perpetuating the fact that you don't care about her. So if even she thought you didn't care before, now she knows for sure that you do not care. And you're solidifying her views about you, which is just terrible. Now, Lexi did say she feels like therapy is the right path for her. And I agree. I absolutely agree. I think she needs to get in therapy. She needs to be fully addressing all these things, because it's one thing to feel rejected by your father and feel like your father never really showed you that he loved you and wanted you in his life. And that is a very sad place to be in. So yeah, I wish Lexi all the best. And I hope that Chris can be man enough to have the conversation with his daughter. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.